Yeah. Welcome to another edition of the Views from the Friend Zone podcast. It's your boy Real Talk More. Who I got in the building with me?
It's your boy Cliff Brockman now.
What up, it's your boy Reggie, Mr. Body Defining.
Yes. How you doing, bro? So I'm glad to have you on the show. We want to discuss a wide variety of topics. The current climate that we're living in is so much stress, there's so much drama going on between, rape allegations and race wars and just so crazy. So I wanted to bring you in, you being, a fitness and wellness guru, to have conversations with our people about, how can we achieve the healthy lifestyle still while dealing with all the drama and the stress, So we're going to jump right into the show. The first topic is health and stress. And the question is, how do we still find ways to remain healthy in the stressful environment that we're currently in?
I mean, it's really just about what it is that you want. One of the first things that I talk to people about is, finding out what your why is. Like, why do you want to, be healthier? Why do you want the results that you're looking for? And actually, when you start to work towards your healthy, active lifestyle and you start exercising, exercise is actually a great stress reliever. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't understand that and realize how much exercise can help them relieve stress, especially if you go into, thinking about doing some kickboxing or boxing or hitting that heavy bag. Like, you can take your stress out, hitting that heavy bag, but it's a great workout at the same time. And, when you're working out, you start to feel better. When you feel better, you have less stress.
Yeah. What about you? Like, how, in your lifestyle, you work crazy hours and stuff. How do you try to remain, healthy in this stressful environment?
The gym, going to the gym is a good stress reliever because it's like I don't think about any of my problems when I'm in there for the 2 hours I'm in there. I'm just thinking about getting the job done, whether it's cardio, whether it's a new exercise I picked up from YouTube, or whether it's I'm helping somebody else. It's a good stress reliever because you don't, after you exercise and you get a good workout, you don't think about all the other problems, because for that time being, you're stressed because you accomplished a goal. So that's why I feel like exercise is very important.
I mean, to me, it's tough. I work very long. Obviously, everybody work very long hours. I work a very sedentary job where I'm just sitting in front of a computer for hours, sometimes from 9 to 8, sometimes, 8:30 to 7:30. So, like, what if someone's not able to get to the gym as often as possible, what kind of advice can you give them to, like, get some kind of activity in, especially when their job is sedentary?
Well, here's one of the things, right? So, like the team I work with and people that know me, all of that is really just an excuse, right? It's a matter of, okay, because you have time for whatever it is that you want. And most people just like, oh, no, I don't have time, right? I work these long hours and, I got to get this time to get to work. And then I got the kids and all this other stuff, right? Yeah. And so the first thing that I give them is an analogy, because I have analogies for everything. Mm-hmm. And so the first question I ask is, okay, cool. You got to, time is of the essence. You lack time, right? Okay, so if I told you that you're not allowed to change anything in your lifestyle, but however, the CDC says that all adults should be doing 90 minutes of strength training per week, 2.5 hours of cardio per week, right? That's the bare minimum all adults should be doing to be healthy. So if you incorporate that, figure it out, however you're going to figure it out, over the next 12 months, I'll give you $10 million. What you going to do?
I'm going to make it happen.
Right.
I'm going to cut out some of my TV shows.
Exactly.
I'm going to cut out some of the Knicks games or the Giants game. I'm going to figure it out some kind of way.
And so when I share that with people and I say, okay, cool. So what that's telling me is two things. One, there's the time. You just haven't found the reason deep enough in order for you to create that time. Two, you're saying that $10 million is worth more than your life.
And that's deep because unless you have that incentive out there that you've really, considered, because it's easy to make excuses. Like I said, my excuse to you was that I work long hours, but then I still eventually find time to like
Watch
watch something,
games,
the
watch
Knicks
the Giants
game,
games.
or go on Hulu and watch This Is Us if I missed it. Like, you
Right.
know, if I miss a certain show live, I'll go back and watch it and spend time. Or I'm guilty of a Netflix binge as well.
And I'm all for that, right? If you want, I'm not going to tell you that you can't have a life, right? Because it's all about what I preach is all about living a healthy, active lifestyle, right? So that means there's a lifestyle, but the healthier you are, the more stylishly you can live your life. So if you're going to go watch the Knicks game, right, guess what? There's commercials. Typical commercial breaks. I mean, not necessarily during games like football and basketball, but like during TV shows, a typical commercial break is about 3 minutes. You can use that 3 minutes to do something. 3 minutes of hard, intense, you know, hot hit training, some high intensity interval training is rough. 3 minutes is a long time. You know, so you can do that at your job. You know, if you have a sedentary job, I mean, you can stand up, you can sit down, you can do stuff in a chair. I mean, we're sitting in chairs right now, and I can create a whole workout plan just using this chair. I actually have a video on my YouTube page that talks about working out with a chair, right? And so not only can you work out with the chair that you have, but who's stopping you from bringing in dumbbells? It's not going to take up some space, right? Get some 5-pound dumbbells and do some things, you know, at your desk. Most times, I mean, I highly doubt your job is going to be like, listen, you can't bring in them dumbbells unless you're making a whole lot of noise, because what's going to happen is that the healthier you are, the more productive you're going to be. So that's why there's a lot of jobs that are getting incentives and health incentives, and, you know, they have these Fitbit challenges and, you know, all of that stuff that the employees have to do in order to create, one, to lower their insurance, right? But two, they understand that the healthier their employees are, the more productive you can be, right? And so if you're like, listen, I'm bringing in these weights and I need to, you know, do this. I might need to take 5 minutes here and there every hour to go do something. I'm sure they'll be okay with it as long as you're getting your work done. What that also might do is it might spark and inspire other people to start doing the same thing, right? Because it always takes one person to start a movement. One person's got to get started. And so you can be that person to do it. But, you know, like as you mentioned earlier, it's easier to use the excuse and accept the excuse. Why? Because it's just easier. But there's a will, there's a way. There's other people that's making it happen. There's other people that's getting results. There's other people who may have a tougher life than you do, but they still find time to make it happen. And really what it's about is just a matter of you finding the reason why you want to be healthier, you finding something, a connection that's going to keep you in that mind frame of, you know what, no matter what. And it's different for everybody. That $10 million that I offered may not work for somebody who money doesn't matter. Yeah. You know, some people it's their kids. You know, some people their kids aren't a good enough reason for them to do it. It could be their mom. It could be their dad.
Be around for them,
right.
Exactly,
you know, so it's all about finding the deep connection that's going to push you and motivate you when you wake up and it's raining outside and you were supposed to go out for this run. And what's going to get you to say, okay, you know what? I said I'm going to go do it, so let me go do it. And it varies for everybody, and everybody has to find out, you know, what that is. And, you know, me being a trainer, I share, you know, because people say, well, do you guarantee results? And I get that question all the time. And I say, look, I guarantee if you follow the plan, you'll get results. Yeah. But you are with you more times than you're with me. I think it's...
Because you can't control when they're cheating.
Right.
Exactly. Or they're making that late night checkers run, even though they told you they just had a shake.
Exactly.
And it was done for the night.
But I think it's 228 hours or 248 hours in a week, right? And so even with my clients that I see anywhere from 2 to 3 hours in our 2 to 3 sessions a week, you still control more of the time. And so you have the control. It's your power. It's what you decide to do when no one's watching, right? What are you doing when no one's watching? Are you, you know, the one that's got the candy in the drawer and you're just not telling me about it?
And you know what? The funny thing is you saying this what you do when no one's watching, because that's the definition of character, right?
Right.
It's the things you do when no one's watching. It's the things you do when no one has expectations for you. You know what I'm saying? That's what defines your character. As a person who works a lot of hours, like, what things do you do to, like, you know, fit in a healthy lifestyle even while working so many hours?
Me, I go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week, and it's not just for appearances to say people are, oh, you look good and stuff. It's a stress reliever for me, right? So you figure in 2 weeks I do about close to 135 hours, 140 hours. But even then, I'm still going to the gym 4 or 5 days a week. I have the luxury of having the gym in my job, so my lunch breaks equals if I do 16 hours, I'm at the gym twice. The first hour I'm do weight training, and then the second hour I'm gonna do cardio after I ate all my meals, and then I'm trying to burn off the breakfast and lunch and stuff. But it's not about the gym, because some people are not comfortable with the gym, right? So you could just do some old school things. Educating yourself is key, right? So you could even get a yoga mat, bring it home after work. Listen to some music, then throw on a Taibo tape. Do some Taibo. Find an empty space where you can work out at. Because the gym is not for everybody. If you're not in good shape and you feel like the gym could become a competition, right? If somebody who's a trainer, he's working out, he's doing this, he's doing squats, he's doing that, and a lot of times I go in the gym and they think I'm a trainer because I have size on me. But I if I can help them, I show them, right? But I tell them I'm not a trainer, but I can show you how to do the exercise, or they'll watch. It's all about educating yourself.
And you said something that is key, right? Because someone like myself who's like really out of shape, I'll go to the gym, I'll be motivated in my head. I'll be like, I'm going to hit this gym and stuff like that. You go there, and then you have the people staring at you. Even though you didn't go out your way to speak to them, you didn't ask them anything, you just in your corner trying to do your thing.
And they want to come and show you something. And
not even about that. It's just, sometimes it's the little chuckles or the long stares and stuff like that. So that kind of...
So that's why I said you got to
kills people's motivation.
That's why you got to get into a comfortable environment, right? So if you go home, you purchase a yoga mat, like you said, some dumbbells at Modell's, some gloves, you could YouTube stuff, and you could go step by step to get that motivation, and then listen to some music. Music is therapeutic, right? So when you want to work out, you want to listen to something that's going to make you feel good. So if you're in the gym and you feel like you compete and you're in a competition, you're not going to be motivated to do 30, 40 minutes on the treadmill. You're not going to be motivated to do 4 or 5 sets of dumbbell workouts, because you're going to feel like, is he watching me? What is he doing? So you got to put yourself in a comfortable environment.
So before you go on to the next topic, right? So with that, because I get people that say that, right? And that's why you got a lot of gyms like Planet Fitness that are popping up that's talking about no judgment, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Chances are they're not even looking at you. Right? They're not even looking at you. The people that are in the gym that are focused, they're not paying attention. But what happens is that because you're going, you feel like you're out of shape, and you have that self-consciousness, right? And so you feel like they're looking at you, but they're looking at you because you're looking at them.
Yeah.
Right? And
I agree with that to a certain point, but there is a certain point. It's just like living in this body for 35 years. There is a certain point where it's just like, you see it, you ignore it, but then it's just like, it stays on there. It stays on you for like longer than you comfortable, and then it derails you.
So here's what, when you start getting in momentum, right, and you don't worry about everybody else, because your only competition is the person that you look at in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. And then as you start to get better, as you start to get results, you start to build more confidence. As you're building more confidence, so that's one of the things that I work with people is, and I say I'm going to teach you how to fall back in love with your body. Because when you start to fall back in love with your body, you have confidence and you can do whatever it is that you want in the gym, right? And so, one of the things, like for me, I like on leg days, I'll rock tights. Just some tights and a tank top on leg days, right? And at first, I used to look at the bodybuilders and stuff do it, and I'm like, why are they rocking tights? Like, I'm a track and football guy, so I've worn tights on the track and the field and stuff, but never in the gym, just like that, with no shorts over it or nothing, right? And at first, I was like, what, man, people might be looking at me. And so the same first thought, right? It's just like people have been looking at me. And then I realized that working out in tights when you do legs, there's so much freedom, like you get a better workout. And so I do it, and I don't care. Right, but it's that confidence that I built.
It's easy for Mr. Body not to care versus Mr. Keg.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
when you start to create that confidence in yourself, when you start to feel good, you block out the people.
Yeah.
Right, and it's because everybody gets nervous. There are people who are in shape that are, like people that have won competitions that get nervous. People that still feel, like I said, even me being Mr. Body, right? When I decided I was going to rock some tights in the gym, I felt like people was watching me, and people do. right? But then I got the confidence that, listen, I'm about to crush this workout anyway. And so when I start crushing the workout, then they look at me like, oh, wow, he's crushing that workout. And so that's the same thing. That's the same mentality. You go in there, I'm about to crush this workout for me, right? Because you might not have the aesthetic look, right? But you might be stronger than somebody that looks good. There's a lot of people out here with show muscles.
Yeah.
That's what I call it. They just look good. They're not functional. They don't do nothing.
So let me ask this next question: is food and exercise the only thing we have to worry about when trying to be healthy? Because, like, I also feel like we constantly talk about, you know, eating the right foods or doing some right exercises, but sometimes your mind is poisoned and your mind is not healthy, and that kind of deters you even more than the food that you eat or your lack of exercise.
Right. And so it's your mindset is what's going to, you know, control everything. Right. And so a lot of times people don't realize that exercise is just 20% of the equation. Right. And 80% of the equation is your nutritional habits, because you can get results without going to the gym because of what you're eating, when you're eating, how you're eating it, and having the right nutritional plan that's going to be catered towards your specific goals and your specific things that you're trying to accomplish. Right. But it's 80% nutrition, 20% working out, but 100% mindset, right? Because we are our biggest dream killers, right? The fear of failure, the fear of success, right? It's not just because a lot of times people just always talk about fear with failure, right? But sometimes we fear the success of getting to where we want to be. And so it's like, dang, what would happen if I get there, right? Oh man, I don't know how I would act. I don't know how I would feel, right? And so that fear of that success and getting your results holds you back, right? And so yes, the mindset is 100% of it. So when I started my fitness business, called Body Defining, which is where the name comes from, right? My tagline is reshaping your body and your mind. Because if you don't reshape your mind, you're not going to keep the results that you get, you know? And so, you know, we live in an age of where people go in for these quick fixes, right? They want to go to DR, they want to go get the surgery and stuff like that, and then they lose it. And the reason that they've lost it is because they never learn the habits. They never change their mindset. They don't understand what it takes to get there and also keep it. And so they go spend this money to get the quick fix, but you never change your mind.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I know that current struggles is just like, you know, you could do things to try to assist you to lose weight. But if you don't have that mindset, you know, the tools that got you to where you didn't want to be creeps back in and kind of sabotages the success of what you tried to accomplish, you know? So what do you think you can do outside of exercise and eating right to get your mind right into feeling good and to keeping a healthy lifestyle?
Besides exercise and eating right, you could do a food journal, right? Because when you write things down, you remember stuff. So so if Monday you had McDonald's, Burger King, and Taco Bell, right? You could say Tuesday you want to do better, right? So you're gonna look at your journal on Monday and say, listen, I got crazy with it on Monday. Then Tuesday you might clean it up. Then Tuesday you was like, okay, I feel better today. I feel good. Then you might do certain things. When you write stuff down, you remember it, right? So you could do a food journal for 5 to 7 days, and it can help you feel better. You might not eat clean those whole 5, 7 days, but it'll give you a better outlook. Some people don't like to exercise, but some people love to dance. So that's why I said music is therapeutic. You could put on your favorite song and just start dancing for 45 minutes. Or you could listen to the whole Alicia Keys album and dance for 45 minutes. That's cardio. That's something that's controlling your mind, and then you're feeling good at the same time. So I think food journal, listening to music, doing something that's an activity where you're getting a lot of movement. It doesn't have to be weight training or just regular basic cardio, because what happens is somebody who works out, when you build a certain plan, after a while it gets boring. So that's why now I love to work out, but I always educate myself now. Now I go on YouTube and get different ideas. For example, I seen a 17-year-old kid in the gym, and I stopped him. He was doing a workout that I never seen before. I asked him, he showed it to me, and now I incorporate it in my workout on certain days. It's about educating yourself and not being afraid, right? So I think the best thing is to do is start with a journal. If you like to dance. Do something that's going to make you feel good at the same time, and you get a workout. Because the gym ain't for everybody.
And so, you know, to touch on that, right, What other things can you do besides, focusing on your nutrition and talking about exercise as far as the gym? I mean, your nutrition is still going to be key because you can't out exercise, you can't out activity a bad diet, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the things is as he shared, he said talk about doing other things like dancing, right? You can do active activities, rock climbing, paintballing, laser tag, bowling, all of those things that are going to keep you moving and keep you active, that's going to get you, burning calories because you're not sitting still. But outside of that, also just getting around better people, right? You want to surround yourself with other people that are doing things. Because they're going to inspire you, right? Because have you ever noticed, like something, I've talked about this before, like have you ever noticed when you're around positive people, like you could be in a bad mood, right? But when you're in a bad mood and then you go around other people that are all in a great mood and they're happy and all this other stuff, right? Like you can't stay in that bad mood for too long. Yeah. Why? Because everybody else around you, that energy is going to engulf your bad mood and it's going to create a space where you're going to be feeling better, right? So when you can surround yourself with other people who are eating better, who are being more active, who are a little bit more focused on doing things that's going to be towards a healthy and more active lifestyle, you're not where they are, but they're just in a better position. They don't have to be fitness gurus or nutritional gurus. They just have to be people who are doing things that are working towards their goals. You surround yourself around them, it's going to be very hard for you to stay where you are.
And that's a great point you make, because there's an old saying, show me your friends, I'll show you who you are.
Right.
So if you're not around goal-getters and people with dreams and goals, you kind of lapse into the, you know what, I'm going to stay commonplace, I'm going to stay complacent to just doing what my friends are doing, and that way they're not leaving me, I'm not leaving them, and then we kind of develop a lifestyle of complacency. So, since they just walked into the building, we was talking about health and stress. We're about to leave the topic, but if you want to drop a couple of seconds of how to maintain a health and stress-free lifestyle.
Oh, wow. Health? I don't know. I eat a lot of pork. No, but I can definitely attest to stress-free. I try to stay as stress-free as possible. The only thing that stresses me out is my kids. And that's just a product of life. That's not going to change. Yeah. But I think don't worry about the things you can't control. Yeah. That's the best way of doing it. There's certain things that's in your span of control in your life. Take care of those things as best you can. I know a lot of people that worry about things before they happen. Mm-hmm. Like they predict negative things, they got a pessimistic view. Yeah. Or my thing is like, I'm not going to worry about something until it actually takes place, until I can then deal with it. You know what I mean? So whatever's not in the span of your control, don't worry about it. That definitely keeps your stress level down. Working out, staying fit, you know what I'm saying?
So we're going to move on to the next topic. The next topic is kind of heavy, but I felt like it's something we need to just discuss, right? And it's America and rape culture. Like, now, in the news lately, we've been hearing a lot of allegations of rape, and then it also seems to be like it's people in a position of power. Like, rape is terrible all the time, but we usually equate being raped as someone who's in a mental place of like someone who's not right in their head, so they choose to rape a woman, someone there's something wrong and off. But in America, we also have this culture where it's supposed, CEOs and different men of position of power.
The type of crime that it is, it's a power, it's a dominating type of crime.
Officers, bosses at job, different people in the position of power are using rape as a power dominance tool and necessarily a way to bring someone down. It's not also just being a sexual predator, So the first question, right? Because no problem. So the first question is because the biggest, culprit in the last, week has been Mr. Harvey Weinstein, who's a big major Hollywood executive. The Weinstein Company has put out so many different, monumental films, and now we're finding out. What was amazing to me, and not in a good way, is that usually you find out it's like someone who was in a position where they felt compromised, so they wasn't able to speak out against the person. But you're hearing now these are big names: Angelina Jolie, A-listers who's been A-listers for the last 20 years.
I think Rosario Dawson.
And even Terry Crews, who's 6'5", 240,
He said he was
solid.
a victim.
You know,
Say he grabbed his penis.
yeah, some at a,
Harvey Weinstein.
no, not Harvey Weinstein himself,
Some-
but another Hollywood executive at a party groped them up and smiled like, "What are you gonna do?" kind of thing. So the first question is, Harvey Weinstein has been sending shockwaves this week with his sexual assault allegation. Nelly's been accused of rape recently, but the person's now dropping it, so we don't know.
Oh,
if
she's dropping it.
yeah, we don't know if that's a payoff or not. You know, and a lot of other celebrities have their sexual misconduct has been exposed. Does America have a huge problem with people in power and rape? I'll let the guests speak first. Heavy. I know it's heavy, but you know, this show we cover.
No pressure here.
We
No,
cover
it's
across the board.
It's all good. Like, so one of the things that I don't really watch the news. And so, like,
Okay.
the stuff you're talking about, like, I mean, I can talk about it, but not specifically those things because I don't know about it, right? Because I choose to focus on more positive things. However, is it an issue? I mean, it's been going on forever. What I think is more of an issue is that people end up in those positions, like you mentioned, some A-list people, right? And it's that wanting to be the A-list celebrity, so I'm gonna do whatever it is, as opposed to finding your own strength, right? And so I'm more focused on we need to uplift each other more, and things like that can decrease because if you have more confidence, if you are feel like, you know what, listen, I may not be where I want to be yet, right? But I don't have to compromise myself in order to get there. And I know that I will get there with faith, determination, and all that stuff. And then it's like, okay, eventually you will get there. But that we live in this now society and everybody wants everything now, right? We want to rush to get there. And so I'm going to take the easy way. And you put yourself in compromising situations. You compromise your integrity because when you don't have your integrity, then you'll fall for anything. Right. And so when we can start to uplift each other and be more positive in our communities and our friendships and all of that, support each other. I mean, you know, I don't know what you guys do, right? But if you guys are entrepreneurs, like, who are the first people to tell you no? Your friends and your family, right? They don't support you. And so if we can get out of that aspect and get to doing more support and doing more things, I think that those things would decrease. Why? Because people don't feel like they got to put themselves in that position to be successful, to be, you know, wherever it is that they need to be. And I think that's more of an issue for me of people having lack of confidence and lack of integrity, which creates the other thing. So it's like, to me, that's like a sidebar of the deeper issue of the self-esteem things, the confidence things. And, you know, so I think, yes, of course, people are going to prey on that because it's like, all right, cool, I got power and I know this is what you want. And so I'm going to do whatever it is that I want to you because I know you're going to do it. Right. And it happens in all industries. Right. But it happens because people allow themselves to want to do it because they're going to sacrifice, they're going to compromise their integrity to be the A-list person versus, you know, okay, cool, listen, I'm not about that. I know that I'm going to get there. And especially nowadays, I mean, with the age of social media, like, you can become a star without having to compromise. And I think it's going to slowly decrease because social media is so powerful now. You know, but I mean, I think it's not a new issue. I think it's always been around. It's just, again, because social media is so powerful, because the internet is so powerful, it's just there's more awareness of it now. But I think it's something that's been in existence forever.
Why do you think that so many, and I don't want to say men only because there's instances of women too, but why so many people of power are choosing to like use rape as a kind of, you know, advantage that they're taking people of? It's
because they know it's like selling your soul to the devil, right? When you come from nothing and you know this person can take you to the next level. If you come from being dirt poor and then now you this next actor or this next Hollywood star and you know this person can give you 4 or 5 more films and that can enhance you could have $20,000 in your account and now you have $1 million, you're going to let certain things slide because now you're in a new bracket, you have a new life, you can provide for your family, everybody's looking at you as a star. So people, what they do is they sell their soul sometimes because they want to get high in position. And people that's higher up, they know that. There's been allegations P. Diddy has did a lot of homosexual activities to get Bad Boys started. It's a lot of allegations that's been going on in between the rap music, entertainment. When you come from nothing, right? If me and you, we come from South Jamaica, Queens, right? Mm-hmm. We have no money, but somebody say I could give you $20 million. Not saying that you're gonna let him grope you up or touch you or nothing, but you might compromise him disrespecting you a little
morals.
bit, the morals and your values that you believe in, because now you're gonna get $20 million. So it's scary, right? Mm-hmm. You put yourself in a situation where you're like, damn, I got 5,000 in my account. You know, maybe if it's a lady, let's not just put guys. Maybe if it's a lady, you know, if I let grandma, grandma lady, no, listen. If I let grandma kiss me a little bit, you know, I know she kind of keep touching my arms. You know, maybe I do get the next three. Maybe I do get the next 3 roles. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Maybe I'm gonna be in the next Batman, the next Planet of the Apes. What you call it? So you know what? I'm just gonna kiss grandma a couple of times. Ain't nobody gonna know. And now you're the next star. So it's selling your soul to the devil. So you compromise yourself.
We definitely it's a sellout society.
That's what I'm saying.
So to answer,
I'm sorry to go ahead. Because we're kind of focusing on, like, you know, people kind of, like, you know, compromising their morals to achieve success in certain instances. But, you know, I don't want to be in a lane where we kind of like shifting the blame to the victim. I'm talking about the predators in the situation, right? But you could
no. Along with the predator, I was just saying, we're in that regard with these A-list celebrities and all these higher ups. It's a sellout society. You know, people sell out all the time to get where they want to get. You know, you got to give a little to get what you want to get, and sometimes that's just considered a little, letting so and so touch you up or whatever. You know, so you can get the role, whatever. But like you said, I don't want to blame the victim neither. But I say, as a whole, our society is a rape society because that mentality is too common amongst people in this society. Once they have a position of power, they feel like, you know, they can do whatever they so choose, and we can go to the highest position in our country with our president. You know, he got hats. Grab him by the pussy. Like you have hats that are selling because of that. And who said that? Our commander-in-chief. You know, he has that. I'm not saying he's a rapist or anything like that, but it's that mentality that leads to those other things taking place. You see what I mean? And he sees nothing wrong with that mentality. He sees himself above women, you know.
And that's the problem that I see with the power structure that we have in this country, that those in power seldomly get checked.
Yes.
Like, that's what Trump's out here. Trump literally, his platform, his everyday like is who gonna check me, boo? Right? That's how Trump chooses to operate, and we have too many people in a position of power who go without being checked. So they're allowed to do certain things, like the Harvey Weinstein. It's news to us, but in Hollywood, people have been saying, that's how he get down. That's how he's doing. Why aren't people stepping up and checking these people?
Because of his capital. Because it's money. Money is the root to all evil. The more money, seriously. The more money you are, the more respected, right? Think about it. If I come into the studio right now and I tell you guys, and you know I'm worth $30-40 million, and I tell you guys, yo, you know what? I'm gonna sign you to different stuff, what you call it. But you know what? I need y'all to sell drugs for a month. You guys might consider it because you know.
I don't got no luck. I don't got no luck.
No. I'm just saying though. It might cross your thought because you know I'm in a rough place right now. Hold on, only a month I could do that. Then that's what happens.
But see, that's what I can understand when they take advantage of the people who are in tough positions. Yeah. But when you already established, like you already got your millions, you know what I'm saying? You want to get that next role. You still want to stay on top. That's the only thing harder than getting on top is staying on top.
Yeah,
you know, you still gonna sell out, but you ain't gonna sell out for any old thing now because you already somewhat established.
But money, when you have that capital and when you got that power because of the money, sometimes a lot of people degrade themselves, and that's the problem. Yeah. Degrading yourself for money, which is everything. To me, I still feel, you know, more of like, you know, that's when it comes to rape and things like that, we too easily, and that's probably my next question, we too easily focus on the compromising of the victim. But I wanna analyze the mentality of the predator. Like, you know, honestly, this country has been
the way this country's operates is it's always been the good old boy system where people at top kind of control and dictate what's done to the people under them, But my thing with the rape culture, right? Like Harvey Weinstein, the reason why I want to focus on Harvey Weinstein is like this guy is a power player. He's money's not an object to him. He has access to so many things. Why do we, these people of power, continue to perpetuate that predatory attitude and that predatory?
Well, I mean, for me, I think it's more so of we're not really going to understand it. Why? Because that's not you. Mm-hmm. You're not going to understand the mind of a predator if you're not a predator, right? And so, but the people in the power, why do they continue to do it? Because people allow them to continue to do it. So I know you're saying you want to take the focus off of the victims, but at the end of the day, it still falls, because if there is no victims, these people can't prey on anyone. If everybody continues to say no, if everybody continues to shoot it down, who are they preying on, right? And so, I mean, I like stuff like Criminal Minds and things of that nature, right? And typically things like that, it results to the childhood. And something happened in their childhood that they were the kid that didn't get picked to play in the sandbox, right? And so now they've created this success for themselves, and so they're going to just take out their revenge. And how they do it is because they know that people want what they have, right? But it's still, to me, it's still, again, on who you surround yourself with, right? Because if you're surrounding yourself with positive thinkers, if you're surrounding yourself with positive people, and somebody comes to you with some side stuff, you can be like, nah, like, I know, right? So I've met millionaires. I've met people who have come from nothing, that didn't have to sell themselves out to make it, like, and so one of the things that I do is work on personal development, right? Les Brown says, it's an African proverb that says, when there's no enemy within, no enemy outside can do any harm, right? And so if you have that strength and that inner confidence in yourself, and you're surrounding yourself with positive people, it doesn't really matter what other people are saying. It's like, okay, cool, you want this role, you got to do X. No, I'm good, because I know that it's possible, right? And so I start my days off with personal development, listening to something, a positive message, for anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes in the morning before I start my day. Why? Because that's what other successful people do. And so you just follow success. Success leaves clues. But one of the reasons they say it is because when you start your day off with positive messages, what do most people do? They watch the news. They read all the negative things, right? And so you have a bad day. When you hear a song first thing in the morning, what happens? You're singing that song all day.
For the rest of the day.
So if you start your day off with a positive message, you'll have positive things that happen all day long, because you fortified yourself with some positivity, right? You listen to somebody like Eric Thomas, who lived in abandoned buildings and ate out of trash cans, and is now one of the top motivational speakers and gets paid 6 figures to speak for 45 minutes. Yeah. Why do I need to go sell myself when this man created this thing? And this is really before social media was popping, right? So now we have an opportunity to even create way more success, without having to do these things. And so, but it's, again, who are you talking to? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Because if you continue to keep around other people that are always talking about those things on what I would do to get this and what I would do to get that, versus, you know what, I'm out here going to grind. I'm out here going to make it no matter what, in a positive way, those things won't really happen as much. And I think people are just, there's just so much negativity, right? We talked about earlier, it's easier to take the excuse. It's easier to be negative. Right? Most people think, well, what if, like, he spoke earlier, he's like, people think about the negative side first, right? Most people, it's not like, it's like, well, what if this happens? Well, what if that happens? Well, why not? What if I make it?
What if I do win?
Right.
Sidebar, you reminded me of Eric Thomas when I was describing my brother, like, about the person I'm bringing on to the show. I'm like, how Eric Thomas is? He has that kind of, output when he's discussing his health and wellness. So that was a good person to bring up. This is the last question I ask on this topic, and then we can move on. I kind of touched it, but I really want to just have, like, if we could get, like, 30 seconds responses from each of you guys regarding it. So I was doing research. With 91% of rape victims being women, why does it seem so easy for us to victim shame, especially when the accuser is a celebrity? Like, I always hear, and not to, cast any negativity towards anyone in the panel and stuff like that, but that's why I wanted to concentrate more on the the predator or the accuser, because I feel like, for instance, when Nelly was accused of rape last week, first things people said was, well, she shouldn't have got on the tour bus. Or she knows he's an artist. She should have never, put herself in a situation to be around that person. And then, the same things sometimes people were saying with R. Kelly and their victims, Bill Cosby and their victims. I haven't really heard that much victim shaming with the Harvey Weinstein thing because his history within the tight circle has been so known. It's just like he was equal opportunity to the people that he did that, no matter where he kind of placed it. So why is it so easy for us to say, you know what, if that person, kept themselves out of that particular circumstance, then they wouldn't have happened. So why is it so easy to victim shame, especially when we know most of the victims are women? Anybody?
Well, and what it has to do with celebrity-wise, it's easy to victim shame because as the celebrities, they have a fan base. People don't want to believe that the person that they, admire or look up to would do such a thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if somebody you love or somebody you hear something negative that they've done, the first instinct is like, nah, man.
Not my man.
You know what I mean? Nah.
Free so-and-so, because so-and-so wouldn't have done that.
You don't know that person who's the victim or what they saying, and you know the character, or you believe you know the character of the person that's being accused. So you like, nah, they couldn't have done that. I don't believe it. So-and-so is trying to come up, or, they just want to, find a way to get paid off my man, or they want to bring them down. You're trying to find a reason as to why what they're saying is not legitimate. That's the first instinct, because the person who you're familiar with, you may know, you're like, I ain't trying to believe that, So I think that's the first part of it.
What do you think?
To piggyback what Mike is saying, I think it's like a lot of people, it's their character, right? So when you're an entertainer, you got a certain character and a certain behavior that you present to the world. So like, for prime example, the Usher and the big girl. The big girl said that Usher had sex with her, gave her herpes and all this. Everybody's like, this girl's lying. Are you kidding me? Usher wouldn't do that. But we don't know Usher. We only know Usher from his great music and his character, right? Yeah. So, like, that's what I'm saying. So when you're
what we appear to, what we think his character is, right?
He dances nice.
So a lot of people, Usher could be somebody who hits on his wife, who does all these negative things, but we only know what the TV shows or the entertainment world gives us. So a lot of times, we the victim shame, we don't look at them. We automatically look at them at a negative light because we're like, nah, that's not them. Why are they trying to destroy my man's character? I love Usher. Yeah. Why would she do that? That's it.
So I think the biggest reason, in my opinion, that people go to victim shame, right, is because we live in a society where people want the easy way. No one wants to work hard for anything, right? And so because we have in this society that, everybody, like, Mike said, is looking for the come up, that's just the society that we live in. And because we live in that society where people don't want to work hard to get to where they want to be, everybody's always looking for that quick fix, right? That lottery ticket. That's the society we live in. And so because we live in that, and that's the culture where everybody's looking for the scam or the whatever way, right? And so I think that's what creates a quick, like, people to victim shame first, because it's like, well, this person's made it, you ain't got nothing, and so that's why you're trying to come for this person, because, like, what is it that you've been doing? What is your track record to create whatever wealth that you're seeking in retribution for whatever the allegations that you made? And so I think if we didn't live in, I think, this is the victim shaming probably didn't happen, 50, 60 years ago where everybody was working hard, right? Because it was like, if it happened, I mean, whatever. Yeah. But nowadays, when nobody wants to work hard.
Well, look at the situation where it's two people we know, and then you have different views. I'm talking about like the Chris Brown Rihanna situation, right? Yeah. When I first heard that, I didn't jump and say, "Oh yeah, Chris beat on Rihanna." I was like, "Chris Brown hitting on Rihanna?" Yeah. I know Chris Brown, young dude. His character
after the fact has kind of made it.
But you know what I thought initially? I was like, "Oh, Rihanna had to start that. She a West Indian woman. They mad aggressive. She probably popped him in the face, and then he was just like trying to defend himself. Because Chris Brown, I'm like, That's
because
Chris
you
Brown.
like Chris Brown and the
It's
image.
not that
No,
I couldn't see it.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
But
I love Rihanna
the
too.
character he presented himself. But now, but now you see that he's an animal.
Not that he's an animal,
No.
but he's a fake thug.
No, he's an animal.
Didn't she initiate the first time? I don't
She-
remember. Like I told you, I don't pay
They was
attention
in
to
the
none of
car.
that stuff.
I'm sure it was an argument. Either way, if she initiated or not, he
It was
he
still
took
wrong.
it to
Oh,
another
absolutely.
level.
Yeah,
You know,
You can't.
I was surprised by that.
You could never retaliate on one. Like people always say, if a woman put her hands on me, I'm gonna fight her like a man and stuff like that. The way that
People
Rihanna
say
looked-
that.
no, trust me.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I don't know.
As crazy as it sounds, I see it all the time. You know, and I always look at people like, huh? Like, you know, if she want to put her hands on me like a man, I'm gonna treat her like a man. That's to me, that's those secret. Like, yo, watch this dude. He might beat
He
on.
gonna be locked
you know.
up.
But
we
I
know
wanna-
some friends that do that.
I want to close out in saying that, you know what? I agree with all that what you guys said about the victim shaming, because I feel like we hold certain people to such a high esteem, right? That we question, like, this guy's successful. This guy did everything that it took to make it in America. There's no way that he could have this dark secret. So we continue to
Bill
protect.
Cosby.
Yeah, we continue to protect these predators because of their success. We equate their success with morality, but we all know that a lot of
I
successful
still don't
people
believe
aren't
Michael
that
Jackson is guilty of those crimes.
moral. Oh, brother, that's a whole nother
That's
show.
a whole nother
Still
show.
don't believe
Yeah,
Michael
that's a whole-
Jackson. Come on, man.
So we're gonna do the last segment. The last segment is
That's a
gonna
whole
be
nother show.
the last segment's gonna be a lighter segment, right? And it's called Sex and Happiness, right? Because I was reading some things about, like, you know, there was on a study about, like, if a couple has sex 3 times a week, they're more likely to remain married. Which was a weird thing to say, but to be honest with you,
How did they do that survey? That's what I'm.
because you know,
interesting.
all of those surveys,
3 times
they
a
always
week,
ask a couple.
4 times.
They ask a couple, you know, how often do you guys fight? And then they also do the correlation of, okay, how often do these same couples who fight and those who responded who fight more, they found that they was having sex less. And they did a correlation between
They
you know,
wasn't
sex
having
and
that
happiness.
makeup sex. That's why I see.
So, so the question is, if a man and woman or a couple doesn't agree on the frequency of sexual encounters, can they still have happiness in the relationship? So to break down that question, my thing is like, a husband want to have sex with his wife, let's say 3 times a week, and the wife says, "Nah, I'm only good for 1 time a week." So, you know, obviously there has to be
That's a
some
problem.
kind of,
That's a huge problem.
I hear you. There has to be some kind of compromise, right? So, can that relationship still have happiness? We'll let the guest speak first. Now, you can disclose your relationship status if you want or not, but regardless of what your relationship status is, how do you feel about that? Because I'm married, he's dating, so we don't know your situation. Like I said, you don't have to disclose it, but
I mean, I'm dating, I'm single.
Okay.
But as you said, like as you were describing the question, right? You said compromise, and I think even if because people are never going to be on the same, you know, path anyway. I mean, it's rare that you got 2 people that's like, yeah, 3 times a week, you know, or yeah, 1 time a week. It happens, right? But just healthy relationships. So no, I've not been married, right? But I know a lot of married people and people that have been married for a long time. And that compromise is the thing, but it's the communication, it's the trust, right? The communication is key. That's one of the building blocks. And if you don't communicate that, I think where people have more arguments is because they never communicate, right? It's like, well, I want it 3 times a week. She only wants it 1 time a week. We've never talked about how many times we should have it a week. And so we're fighting over these things because it's like, she should know I want it 3 times. He should know I only want it once, right? But yet, no one ever spoke about it.
I feel it's a losing battle for men.
Not necessarily.
Because if a woman wants it 3 times and a man only wants it once, a man feels pressure. I'm a man. I have to step it up and give it multiple times. If a woman just wants it once and a man wants it 3 times, she kind of owns the cookie. She kind of owns the situation, so she can shut that down.
But I think with the communication factor, right, because there's other areas that you can pick up the slack. And so I think when you start to talk about things, right, because I think there are some women who will be more willing to up it if they're at 1, right, up it if you're making them happy in other areas, right, if you're doing things like paying attention to them changing their hair, if you're bringing home some flowers, if you're watching the chick flicks with them, right?
Running
it's
them
like
a bath,
right?
massaging their feet.
Doing the things without
things.
doing the things without them asking, right?
Yeah.
That's going to
That
get
is-
them towards
that is crucial.
doing it more, right?
That
But
is
again, it's
crucial.
that communication factor, right? And again, we have people don't want to argue, but they argue all the time. And if they don't want to talk because they feel like the talk is going to create the argument, but then they still argue anyway, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like when you have that communication, then it's like, okay, now we know, well, I know what you want, you know what I want. Now we can find some middle ground, but it's never going to be 50-50, right? There's going to be 80-20, there's going to be 40-60, however it goes, flip-flop, right? But I think that it can work if communication is happening, right? And so there's that, what is it, the 5 love languages, and that book, and it's crucial, right? And so because everybody's love language is different.
Yeah, I own that book too.
And so when you find out what your partner's love language is, again, like physical touch may not be theirs, right? And that's why she might be at a 1, and it might be yours, which is why you might be at a 3. But when you find out what her love language is, it could be words of affirmation, right? It could be, doing things. And so when you find out and you start doing those other things, they're going to want to do more stuff for you. So I think communication will allow it to work. Lack of communication, that ain't going nowhere.
I took a couples class or something or the other, right? And one of the things that was said in this class, there's a pebble game you can play. You got like a little bowl or whatever by the side of the bed, right? And you leave a pebble there in the bowl when you ready to, get it in.
Yeah.
And your partner sees that, and then when they ready, they leave their pebble in there, and then basically you're communicating without actually verbally communicating, letting you know, okay, so you're ready, I'm ready, we gonna get it in. That's one way of just letting you know I want to.
See, I wish I was in that class because then I'd have a question. So what happens if I leave it in tonight and then she puts it in 2 days later, but I don't want it 2 days later? Like, they both in there, but I don't want it right now. Like,
I have to work that out.
Let's have some talk. So, and the question is, can there be happiness if, the frequency is not agreed upon?
It definitely could be happiness, right? Communicate, like I guess we're saying, communication is definitely key, right? You got to talk things out, right? Like when you married, let's be honest, most married men are not having sex 5 to 7 days because their schedule's different, their work schedule's different, everything is different. But if you set certain standards and saying, listen, I'm gonna let you pass from Monday to Thursday, but Friday come around. Something got to give. Friday through Sunday, it should be no excuses when you're in a relationship, right? Because Monday
you got kids.
No, even if you got
kids.
listen, even if you got kids, the kids better be asleep by 11 o'clock. It depends what's going on. So
you got a lot of rules out there,
I
brother.
got a lot of rules, but listen, Monday through Thursday, somebody with 2 different work schedules, I give them that. Because they're tired, even they got kids, if you're a wife, you gotta set dinner, you gotta do this. But Friday, Saturday, even Sunday, you gotta figure it out. You gotta give me 3 days of something. Something gotta go down.
But what if they work on the weekend?
Huh?
What if they work on the weekend?
Something gotta go down. Cause the weekend, listen, Monday through Thursday, you might have that boss on you. Friday,
somebody's weekend might be in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
It can work. Listen,
Some people's weekends is Tuesday and Wednesday.
It can work, but it has to be communication, and it has to be attention paid to what your partner needs.
And then you gotta spice it up. You can't get too comfortable because sometimes women just feel like you're not when we first court somebody, everything is great. If I'm gonna go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week and try to keep my body up, I'm not saying you have to go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week, but it'd be nice if you wear some lingerie. Don't come with the hair rag and think I'm gonna be turned on. You understand?
Yeah, and I kind of agree with a lot of things that you guys are saying. And you hit the nail on the head. It's the consistency. Women want to see a man have consistency, especially with the things that she needs help with. Things that she need, especially if you guys are both working adults, both busy schedules and things. If you can do without asking the things, anticipate her needs, that will definitely help out with the frequency issue. So
cook her a meal.
Right,
where she's expecting to come home and have to cook and clean up, and you got that already done.
Yeah.
Maybe slip a little ecstasy in her stick.
Oh, no. You do not condone the
Just
slipping
to
of ecstasy.
guarantee it.
That's the Harvey Weinstein mentality.
I'm just joking, people. I'm just joking.
Let me move on, right? So,
That's another show that we don't want to talk about, please.
that's never a show I'm
That's
trying
the
to be
Bill
on.
Cosby episode.
So my question is, right? Because we discussed how there can be a disconnect between frequency from a man and a woman, from desire or just communication. So we studied that communication, desire, those things kind of play into a factor. So as just a de facto, because we got 5 minutes left into the show, so I want to try to keep the answers quickly. What is the healthy number of encounters per week, and what's a troubling number? So I'll let the guests go first. Try to keep your answers within 20 seconds, because it's a number question.
To be like, you talking about like frequency wise?
Yeah, of sex. So what is the healthy number of sexual encounters a week, and what's a troubling number?
I mean, I think the troubling number is 0.
Mm-hmm.
Healthy is just whatever. I think whatever you guys talk about, like, because I don't think because 1 could be great for people, right?
Mm-hmm.
7 could be great for people. I think so. Just communication factor. I mean, you want to talk about 3-4 is the medium of 7 days. I think there's only troubling in 0 because just that communication and the touch is necessary. But whatever number it is for you and your partner that y'all work on.
That was a very good answer.
That was
What about-
good. 0 is definitely a trouble number. Sexual activity, period. Like, if it's fellatio, it got to be at least 2, 3 times a week. And if it's no, we're all
This
adults
guy's
here.
a caveman.
Listen,
This is
if
a
it's
caveman.
fellatio,
Gotta be 2-3 times a
Hey,
week.
if it's fellatio, I'm a Haitian Caribbean man, so if it's fellatio, it's either 2-3 times a week, and if it's sex, it got to be at least once or twice. Because a healthy relationship, you got to have affection. If you don't have that affection, you can't just be watching movies, doing stuff.
I'm only cutting you off because
I know.
Troubling number is not really 0. It's -1 and below, and that's
okay.
-1 meaning she
she
giving
owe
it
you
to
from
somebody
last
else. No. Somebody else is getting it. You know what I'm saying?
I was trying to wonder, how do you equate -1? But that
-1 is somebody else is getting
That's
it.
definitely
Okay.
a trouble number.
That's really
So
troubling.
what's a healthy number?
0 can happen in a rough week where y'all just missing each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We make up for it next week. But a healthy number, I think that depends on the people. You know what I mean? Some people are more sexually they need sex.
Give us
more
a number,
in
bro.
their life. For me personally, I would say 3.5, maybe 4. You know what I'm saying? Because the
Yikes.
weekend is twice, no doubt. The weekend is twice.
So I'm going to
So
answer
let's
this
get it
before we
during the
move
week.
on. My thing is, I agree with you with the 0, but I think 1 should be the bare minimum. But if circumstances happen, things happen, then it cannot happen. But you know what? Had the conversation.
1 is low.
The worst thing you can do is let weeks pass and you're not speaking about it. You're acting like, oh, maybe he won't notice. Nah, he noticed. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think a healthy number to me is 3. I think sneak 1 in during the week and you try to do 2 on the weekend. You know what I'm saying? If your schedules permit.
I
if
said
your
3 too.
schedules
I
sync.
said 3 too,
If your
yeah.
schedules sync. All right. So now the next question is there... Okay, so because we discussed how there could be a disconnect from the frequency and we had different numbers. The last question is the disconnect between frequency in a relationship excuse to cheat, or is it a reason?
Neither. It's not an excuse to cheat, and it's not a reason to cheat. It's a reason to start having a conversation. I don't like. For me, like, cheating is never an option.
This guy's good.
You
This
know,
guy's good.
I'm just saying, like,
This guy good.
We might have found our mentor.
but you know, like, just it's like, if you start feeling that, like, there's other issues, right? And there's always other issues. It's just that's the thing that you can focus on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're like, oh, it's because of the sex. No, it's not. It's not really because of the sex. There's other things that are bothering you, but that's the prevalent thing. Like it could be where, you know, like, somebody squeezes, like, they don't push the toothpaste all the way up to the top, right?
Yeah.
They can squeeze it from the middle, right?
Or
and
she
you
falls in the toilet seat
and then-
because you left the
and
seat
you
up.
and they blow up about that, but it's not about the toothpaste. There's other things, right? But the lack of communication. So, I mean, but again, I'm not going to say it's not an excuse or a reason. It's never. I'd rather walk away, but I'm talk first.
Isn't it an excuse or a reason?
Cliff is like, "This is a reason."
Try
That's a
to
damn
keep
good
it,
reason.
try to keep it quick. 'Cause
I'm
we
gonna
gotta
keep
end
it
the show.
quick. It's definitely a reason because relationships work when you and your partner are having sexual intercourse, right? Because everything could be going great. You could be paying all the bills. Both of your finances could be right. The disconnect of not having sex with each other, that's big. That's a reason. Because listen, at the end of the day, if you're not gonna do it, somebody else will, and somebody's gonna pay attention to you. That's why I
What
say.
about you? Is it an excuse or a reason?
We just roommates if we ain't having sex. But,
So it's a reason.
It's not definitely not an excuse. But men cheat usually out of lack of physical contact, meaning they ain't getting none at home. That's usually their reason. Where women are different. They don't cheat just because of that. They form certain connections, emotional
connection, yeah.
outside. So I would say I don't even really want to answer this question because
You already gave too much to incriminate yourself. I'm gonna close it out saying that I definitely believe it's an excuse and not a reason, right? But also, like you all said, communication is the key. If you're letting your spouse know there's reasons why it's not happening right now, please bear with me, this and the other. I'll try to be affectionate with you otherwise, but for some reason, I can't mentally get there. Then the person has to be like, I understand, and then try to do things to help that happen. It's an excuse because it's just like, yo, it's men's go-to, like, well, she wasn't giving it to me, so I had to get it somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like we all, as adult men, have discipline enough to, like, work around it if we had that communication. And that's how we're going to end the show. So another great episode of the Views from the Friend Zone podcast. I'd like to thank our guest, Reggie, for coming through, Mr. Body.
Yes,
if you can, drop a couple of seconds of letting people know how they can reach out to you and what you got going on.
Cool. So again, this is Reggie, Mr. Body. You can find me on social media by Reggie Lamptey or Mr. Body, or on Instagram, Mr. Body Defining. I think it's the same thing on Snapchat. My YouTube page is Body Defining. Essentially, anything with Mr. Body, Body Defining, or Mr. Body Defining.
In this video, in the comments, you could also leave your information for people.
Yep. Cool.
I just want to say, educate yourself, whether it's health, working hard, bettering your finances, and don't be afraid to ask, because that's the only way you're going to grow. That's it.
Back to one of our earlier topics, you are all too blessed to be stressed. Every day you wake up and you can breathe air and put something out there, you can make the most of your life. So just make every day count. You know what I mean?
Like I always say, continue to work on yourself. Continue to build upon your dreams. And, every day work on something small. We always try to do a marathon in one day. You know what I'm saying? You got to train. You got to build yourself up to that. And I always end every show saying, chase your legacy and not liabilities. And that's my view for the week. Thanks for everybody for coming through. We out. Peace.
Chill.